Welcome everyone to the I wanted to say grand return, but it really hasn't been that long. This might be the shortest gap we've had between episodes, but it's episode 6. I'm like 90% sure, and I don't think Tento's going to correct me. So it's going to be episode 6. And this is a very special episode because Tento, we're all alone. We have no friends today.
No friends today, just us. Just the vibes, just the boys.
As it should be, because we got a lot of shit to talk about because
Yeah.
fucking Evo happened, right? And that alone, just talking about the tournament, could be a whole ass episode. But then they fucked around and released a I just realized I forgot to put the trailer on the topics list. Oh my god.
Okay, man. It happens to the best of us.
That's hilarious. I knew I was forgetting something. But they fucked around and released a trailer. We got new movement, new mechanics in the game. And just for good measure, just in case, we were worried about not having enough content for this episode, they fucked around and dropped a whole ass Kombat Kast. So I got coffee for this one.
Oh yeah, he needs it.
I'm gonna need this one. I'm a big coffee guy. But yeah, this is gonna be fun too because I am a little broke boy, so I stayed at home. But Tento here, who's Hollywood, went.
Not Hollywood. We are not doing this right now.
I have stories to tell that can prove you're Hollywood, but I'm gonna save that.
Do not
And
do
you
what
know,
I think
you
about
know
to do.
exactly the stories I have too.
I fucking hate you, bro.
But let's talk about before we talk about Evo as like a tournament and like announcements shit. I want to talk about the vibes. Talk to me about the Evo vibes, Tento.
Evo vibes were immaculate, bro. It was nice seeing everybody again. I got to meet Mako and Misery Business. Misery Business from Hong Kong, Mako from Austria. Big shout outs to them. Love them.
Big shout out.
They were great. They were great indeed. But yeah, the Evo vibes are immaculate. It was great seeing everybody again. Evo is a tournament I always tell people though, like it's so hard to like actually see everybody because the tournament's so big. It was 11,000 people in that goddamn venue. So with that, alongside with 7,000 people for good old 7,000 people for what's it called? Street Fighter 6. It was just like you were not going to see everybody. There's some people that were there that told me they were there, and I did not see them not once.
Yeah, Evo's different for sure. It's not like when we went to Combo Breaker. Combo Breaker is like a major, right, for a lot of games. But like you'll find everyone in Combo Breaker.
Yes, you will have time.
Like the venue, like you're in like a it's not crazy, like a warehouse almost in the venue.
Yeah, there's 4,000 people in there. It was like I think it's 4,000 people this year. Combo Breaker, 4,000, 5,000.
Yeah, but like you do a lap around, you'll see a lot. You'll see most of your boys.
Yeah,
But I mean, I wasn't there. But you put 7,000 motherfuckers, 11,000, my bad, motherfuckers in one room. I mean, good luck.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see everybody, but the vibes, like I said, were immaculate. It was nice seeing everybody. Everyone was fellowshipping. The matches were amazing to watch real time. The only thing that was like people talking about was the seating a little bit.
Oh, we can talk about that.
Yeah, the seating was crazy because if you guys didn't know, if you didn't watch it, spoiler: Rewind and Ninja actually fought in top 32.
Round 2 rules.
Round 2 pools pretty much. It was for top 32, I think. Top 24, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, that's round 2 pools. That's like the final.
Yeah, you're right.
Two.
Well, it's top 96, and it was top 96, didn't that, right?
I don't think we had top. I don't know.
It was.
I just did like the scoring for our fantasy draft. We'll talk about that.
Won.
Oh, you got smoked, dude.
Yeah, I know I got smoked.
And
terribly bad. And some of my people didn't even play.
Some of your picks were a little yikes. But yeah, like that was a. So I saw some of the seedings and the placements and everything, right? I mean, Rewind still had a respectable 7th place, but man, that's unfortunate to get our Evo runner-up from last year to play this year's Evo champion in not even top 24.
Actually ridiculous, bro. Like it was. I was like, "Dang, son, you really gonna do them like this for round 2?" Yep, for round 2.
Yeah, and like, here's the thing about Evo, right? I can talk a little bit from a viewer's perspective at home, right? Evo it's a lot of fun. It's great because like I like a good prestigious tournament, You know, I love seeing my like regionals and like my smaller events where everyone's just like having a good time. It's a big community event, but I also like seeing an event where everyone's like, "This is different. This means more," right? And that's a lot of fun for all the games involved. But it means that some of the details in an event that big kind of get overlooked. Like the seating for NRS games at Evo has never been amazing, I don't think. And
Yeah, you're right about that one.
yeah, like there's a lot of stuff. Like the stream had some like audio issues a lot. Um, but overall, I think it was a pretty smooth experience, especially for MK11, which was the had the lowest attendance at the game at the event. Still damn near 500 people, which is a pretty damn good size for a tournament. But we ran all Friday, right? We were all one day, and I think it ran pretty well for a 1 day tournament of that size. Like it's hard to complain too much. I will say having like the prime time Friday top 6 slot was pretty sick. I think I would
Hmm.
take that over like the Saturday morning slot that like something like Melty Blood had. But yeah, because I watched pretty much every top 6, and I like that time slot way more than what
Yeah, it
some
was
other
actually
vendors
really
had.
nice and convenient.
Yeah, like I remember I said like a few years ago, like for MK11 year one, I was like I would much rather have prime time Saturday than the 10 a.m. Sunday slot any day of the week.
Yeah, we definitely got it done smoothly. They got us done out the way. It was just like you said, like we said, seating was a little bit of issue, but it did run smoothly. What did you actually from your outside looking in? Well, actually, what did you think about the top 6, my guy?
The top 6 is interesting, right? Because I thought the level of play was super high, right? There's a lot of stuff, and I think we should just get right into the breakdown. But let's talk a little more big picture. I thought that the level of play was super high, even from some people that I wasn't expecting. Like, did you know nobody drafted Zombat in our fantasy draft?
I noticed that too
Yeah,
because
I thought
I
someone
had
did
thought about
too.
that, and he went. He literally got top 6,
Yes,
and
sir.
he freaking what's it called? I really thought he was gonna focus on Street Fighter more, but he
Yeah,
just popped off.
no, I mean, yeah, and he was like not playing sloppy at all. Like I was surprised from a couple of guys that came back. Like another big snub from our fantasy draft. You didn't get pick. Katana Prime popped off.
AP,
Uh,
freaking man, he upset Scar
yeah,
and Jukes.
yeah. I would say the biggest snubs were Zombat, Conqueror, and Agamotto's Eyes, who came out of nowhere for me.
Komodo's, I expected that kind of from him. I just didn't get pick, I just didn't pick him,
Yeah, but I
but
will
like I
say,
expect him. Hmm?
yeah, I will say between like those guys, KP, I think Zesquill and Arco Verde, I think is his name,
Yeah,
and I think Honeybee. Those were the only names that did in top 17 that didn't get picked. So we did pretty good. Like if you were watching these names, you got a pretty good idea, like a pretty good of the story of this event, I'd say. Minus Tento's draft
my draft, I
outside of top
literally
two.
my only dub was the fact that I got
You got
freaking
Ninja.
Ninja to win the
I
tournament.
updated the scoring if you want to pull up the spreadsheet and see your scores.
Yeah, my score was abysmal. I already knew. I'm like, well, I won the moral victory of I
Yeah, yeah.
won. I got the person who won the tournament, but everything else, no.
Yeah, so for those unaware, we did a fantasy draft last week for the last episode where we drafted players based on how well we thought we would do at Evo. And the scoring came down to our guest Aquaman winning it with 34 points. I got second with 30, and Tento, who picked
17,
Ninja Kill round one,
17, right?
26.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah,
wasn't as
you had a
bad as
lot
I
of
thought.
ones, and you had 12-4 in round one and two. So yeah. Unless my math is wrong, but I think it's okay. I'm a math minor, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but
Oh God.
I think my math's okay.
Bottom line is, yeah, congrats to Aquaman. I thought after the tournament was like, once we got the top 7, I'm positive Aquaman won, bro.
Yeah, hey man, I brought it in close. I brought it in close. If I drafted one of those guys that like went on a run that we didn't pick, like if I had Zombat on my team, we won.
Yeah, but even one of us had Zobat on our team, we probably would.
Yeah, it was a
I
Sonic
probably would have
gamble.
won.
It was a Sonic gamble. No, you would not have. If you had
No, because I
Zombat.
had Ninja. If I had Zobat on my team along with Ninja, I probably would have won.
No, you're 8 points behind Aquaman.
Oh, yeah. Dang. All right. All right, let it go. Let it go. Moving on. Moving on.
Okay,
Top
okay,
60 grade.
moving on. Let's talk about. You want to just go straight into it?
Yeah.
Okay, so first match of top 6 was Scorpion Pox versus Foxy. And
that match right there. I will say this. That's the match where I seriously thought it was going to be closer. But man, Scorpion Prox did not make it seem like it was close.
right, I mean, like Foxy played the Terminator, and this is such a like an interesting style clash for me because when you look at Proc's gameplay and like the twins in general, like their game plan is more like elaborate than Foxy's, right? Their movement is very technical, very they're very involved, right? They're constantly going in and out. There's like a lot of flashy stuff, a lot of, kind of setting up these really scary shimmy setups with their movement. Whereas Foxy's kind of is so good at breaking, at like establishing super simple game plans and win conditions. If you know what I mean, right? Like
Yeah.
Foxy plays fighting games the way the developers intended to play the game. He gets us, creates situations where he can force a 50-50 and he takes the 50-50, right? That's why Terminator's perfect for him. That's why someone like MKX Kung Lao, who could force strike throw, was great because he would force it and he would take it like every time. And when these guys kind of clashed, like it felt like Foxy was chasing Prox. Like I'm reading through a lot of my notes here.
Well, like that's what the matchup is for a lot of when it comes to the twins. Is like you have to chase them. That's what they're doing 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
They get the life lead, and then it's like, okay, do you have the movement to keep up with us?
Unless you're Ninja.
Literally.
We'll talk about that set. But yeah, like I think we saw, because like Terminator's, I feel like he's been getting gassed up a lot recently in the community, right? Like he's been rising on tier lists, probably more so than most characters this event. But I think once we got the top 6, we saw a lot more weaknesses with Terminator, and that Terminator's buttons suck. Like he's got down 4, and that's kind of it.
Right, that's really it. He doesn't have much after that. Like it's really, you can outspace him. He relies on mix and can grab you, but if you outside of that, what is he going to do? The teleport isn't bad, but then they were just reading, okay, this is how you using teleport. Okay, we're just gonna get past this real easy by just backing up.
Yeah, and like in this matchup, like Foxy just didn't have a great way to deal with like wave dash in forward 2 because Crocs was playing Kodal this matchup, and he just kind of had to take it. Right, he had down 4, which is like good, but it's not super rewarding. It's very risky if you get caught by that forward 2. And then there came to a point in this match where I think Prox had such a good feel of, and like had established so much respect with that forward 2 that it just became command grab city. Like it was there was like 4 command grabs in the first round of game 2. He's just wave dashing in, grabs them, just keeps doing that. Like the wave dash in grab is like the twin special for me because they're so good at getting respect in neutral.
They really thrive the most on just make you look stupid because you expect them to be in one place, and then by the time you realize they're in the other place, you whiffed.
Yeah. Like I remember, it happened less this tournament, but I remember at the combo breaker breakdown we did, I was taking my notes and I'm like, people are just whiffing when they're like half screen, 2/3 of the screen away because they're so terrified that they're just going to be in their face in like any moment, that they're just whiffing on them. And it looks so silly. But then like they don't whiff and then it's just, oh, he's there. He threw them. Fuck. Like...
For me, it was like the moment I realized like their move was big. Because actually, it was back in 2021, the CEO, when I was commentating the set between him versus my boy Not Skash. Not Skash played Scorpion. He did the full back 1 string, and and then I think it was Nicholas. He backed that. Oh no, it was Scorpion Fox. He backed that the whole string and punished him. And I just couldn't believe what I saw. I was just like, yeah, this is the game here.
Yeah, we were both lucky to be in attendance for the twins' big reveal party at CEO that first year, and
like Christ, that was so
up. Yeah, they showed up. They set a precedent for what was coming. Then like Foxy switches the RoboCop, and he kind of just dies. Prox was doing a really good job at playing just outside down 4 range for RoboCop, and at that range, like, RoboCop buttons kind of suck. Like, he's not a character with great strings or buttons. He's very special heavy. And at that range, like, you don't really want to do low gun. Like, that doesn't feel good there because he can just jump. And then you get pushed back into the corner, and it's just got ugly from there.
You can tell that they definitely did their homework in that matchup because I'm positive like Foxy did RoboCop versus the Twins last year, and the score was 3-2. I'm like 90% sure they met up last year and it was close. So I thought this year that he was going to like make the adjustments, but apparently they just had the adaptation. Yeah.
Great win for Prox, but now I think we should move on to the first Ninja versus Twin matchup.
Ninja versus Prox, I believe that
Nicholas.
was, right?
No, it's Nicholas.
It was Nicholas.
Yeah.
So that one. So watching that in real time, it was like, I'm like, okay, Ninja was definitely asleep. That wasn't the Ninja I'm used to seeing, type B. I was like, okay, this man definitely wasn't ready, and he was dropping stuff, and I talked to him later about it. He said the monitor was like really weird, and he had to get used to it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely Nicholas making the most out of any situation he had got against Ninja, and just capitalizing on every mistake Ninja made. And Ninja was making some mistakes, my guy.
Now, I will say, in this set, I did think that it did establish that Ninja is capable of winning this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think like, oh, we got outclassed, because I was worried like, oh, what if he just gets like outclassed here, right? Because like I've seen that where there's a player that I think has a chance to beat him, and it's just 3-0, and it's like brutal. But a big thing about this set is that I felt like Ninja was getting conditioned in ways that I don't normally see it from him, because Nicholas had so much success ducking throws early. Like, he was getting down twos on it. He was duck OSing them a lot, getting so much success, kind of beating his throws, that it felt like Ninja went away from this. And I know when we get to losers finals and grand finals, we're going to revisit this. We're going to revisit that and talk about how Ninja goes back to that style and doesn't get deterred from it. But it feels like Nicholas' defense early on in this set really changed the way that Ninja Killa played it.
Definitely, indeed. I would say more so it was about I noticed that Ninja was conditioned from like their previous sets from last time, when it was like, because Ninja played the Twins online.
Yeah, I remember.
And they had really good sets, but like I kind of felt like he was expecting that same kind of play, but like the Twins definitely had a lot more offline experience and a lot more like more in the game now. And I was like, yeah, this is a different thing. He has to change up his beat, and he had to make those adaptations. So yeah, I agree. Nicholas just was like on the way he approached on defense and whatnot was definitely getting the best of Ninja.
There was a lot of sick moments in this set though. Like at the end to close out game one, Ninja almost brings it back, I think with Fatal Blow or something. But Nicholas has this sick defensive sequence where he just plays it perfectly. He like techs 2 throws. He checked the jump kick on block, and he got a punish on a back 2 when Ninja won for like a back 2 shimmy. He got a punish on the back 2. I don't think I've ever seen so many back 2s get punished in my life. Right?
You gotta know the Fujin matchup, man.
They were so good at it. I mean, the top 3 was all Fujin, and
yeah,
I kind of thought that was going to be the top 3 very early on in the day, but it just ended up being like that. But yeah, like, I mean, Nicholas was just fucking perfect against throws this whole fucking set. It was insane. Just insane.
I mean, it was ridiculous. That whole last sequence was crazy. Like, the 2 tech throws, and then he ran away, and Ninja had 1 more second on the clock. He did dive kick and then to EX and then the amplified version of it, but he ran out of time on the chip. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think you're conflating 2 sequences. That was, game 1, he punished the back 2 and killed him. The final game, I think it was game 4, is what you're talking about, where like there were like 3 seconds left, but
you're talking about game 1? Okay, I see.
I was talking about game 1, but game 4 was when
that was crazy. That's the one I remember the most.
Yeah, like I think. Nicholas tried to get out of the corner by doing like a jump back wind kicks, and Nicholas had this sick chase down into Fatal Blow with like 3 seconds left, and then like he goes for the Skywalker and a dive kick amplified, and the time ends right before the knee hits. You want to know what the health was right when the clock hit 0?
What was it?
It was 186.99 to 183.97.
Jesus Christ.
So Ninja wins that game if he has half a second left on the clock.
Crazy.
insane. Nicholas played ridiculous that set. Like I said, fucking basically perfect defense. Next up, I got a lot of notes for this set. Foxy versus Zombat.
And that's it right there.
This was a weird set
It
because
really was. Huh?
Kung Lao game one?
That one was everybody was surprised by the pick, but it didn't throw me out too much simply because the way Foxy used his Z hat was definitely going to throw off. I knew he was running Z hat as soon as I saw the Kung Lao pick,
Right.
and the way he used Z hat before, like when like the very if we go back to the first Combo Breaker 2019, definitely threw people off, and definitely in a way is annoying enough that people did not understand, which is why I was like, you know what, I can see this pick. I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, one of my notes was literally Z hat in 2023 question mark. And what interested me about this is that Zombat barely wins this set, right? Like there's a lot of things that I think looked good for Foxy here. I think down 4 for Kung Lao works really well against Johnny, because Johnny, like he wants to get that forward 3 off. He wants to kind of work in these highs for his pressure game to kind of skip steps in neutral. And Zombat was giving Z-Hat so much respect. I don't think he punished the startup on Z-Hat once the entire match. He just, and like, Cage can just shadow kick it. Cage has options there for sure. But he just gave it complete respect the whole time and just barely beats him game 1. And Foxy immediately moves off of it, which is interesting to me because like it felt like Foxy got everything he wanted with that pick. He got, some good buttons to work against Cage. He got, the unfamiliarity with Z-Hat kind of throwing him off and Zombat not showing that he has an answer to it yet. And yet, even then, he immediately gets off of it as soon as he drops game 1. That was interesting to me.
It's that game that plays where I feel like Foxy did take game 1, right?
Mm-mm. He looked really good, but Zombat took game 1.
Zombat took it. It was one of those things. Is like, let me try something out. Like for the first game, and even if I get it's really about the counter pick war because especially in that matchup where Zombat plays so many goddamn characters. Your best bet is to really throw a character that will probably throw him off and see if you can get the game lead. So then you go, okay, now going from this point on, I only need to take 2 more games in order to take this dude out. And I have the counter pick advantage against the person who plays multiple characters. This is a good look for me,
Who else do you think Zombat would have played?
He played Johnny in that matchup, right?
Yeah, he played Johnny. I mean, he played Johnny the whole top. I didn't see him get off Johnny this tournament.
Oh yeah, well yeah, Johnny's most comfortable. He still has a Gears. His Gears is still there, still a little polished, Okay. It might have come out. Oh, what's another character he fairly uses?
Ever used to play Raiden? I don't remember. It's just been too long.
Yeah, definitely can play Raiden. And definitely has a Joker.
Oh, I think I've seen his Joker. Yeah, it's just been so long since I've seen Zombat compete that I feel like I would have made him prove he had another character before I started overthinking it. Because there's some matchups, like I feel like RoboCop would do well against Cage, right? Like I feel like I would try to force him off Cage. Make him prove to me he's got other tools in that belt.
Yes, definitely agree with that category. Like it was definitely like the war of attrition type thing, but it turned out kind of sour for Foxy towards the beginning. So,
but he gets back to term, and this set gets pretty sick. I feel like there's a lot of adaptation that goes back and forth this set. It's interesting. Now, for starters, one note I have here: Foxy never plays a character with a bad down 4. He'll never do it. I think it's sick.
He wants to have that mind game. He always wants to make you block so he can go in for throws.
Right.
That's his whole mind game about it.
And what's interesting is that, like, very early on in the Terminator Cage matchup, Foxy was kind of skipping steps in neutral, right? It was just wave dash up, forward 2, right? And he was forcing that 50-50. And I was watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Cage doesn't need to take that. You have better buttons than Terminator. You have to you have to stop that approach. And he does that. Like after that game, I think he drops game 2, and then after that, Zombat gets way more active in neutral. Like from game 3 on, Zombat is pressing buttons, right? It's down forwards, forwards, stand 1, right? He is just hitting buttons and shutting him down. And Foxy keeps trying to wave dash in 50-50, and he keeps getting stuffed for it. But then Foxy adjusts, and he slows it down so much, right? It becomes wave dash up down 4, dash up down 1 just to check him, or it's just dash up block. I mean, there's one sequence where it's like game 4 or something, right? And Zombat has him cornered, and then it's just he blocks his 1-2-4, and it's just a down one. He blocks something again, it's just dash up down four or something, and it's just dash up block. And Zombat, I think, is reading him to be a bit more active and goes for a jump kick, ends up cornering himself, and then gets schmixed and dies in the corner.
Like Christ.
Yeah, it's a super, super cool adaptation from Foxy, and a very simple one, right? It just became, hey, instead of dash up 4-2, it's dash up down 4 and down 1 now, right?
It was really good seeing like every pop off I heard in the crowd from him getting the mix into Fatal Blow. Oh my god,
yes,
that was hilarious.
Back 3 Fatal Blow, that was sick.
Like it was just so good.
But yeah, it's very cool. Like if you watch every Foxy set you watch, the adaptation from him when he starts losing is almost always more down 4. It's insane. Across every game, it's more down 4 is the adaptation. Because he just knows that like that's a great tool to get his offense going and to kind of shut down their approach, right? It's a safe way to get for him to force his game plan.
And he had to, like, that was the thing that people were kind of confused. Like, what was Foxy running turn? It's just he was feeling with turn. Like, it's one of those factors I realized. Like, once you're feeling with, if you play multiple characters, but you notice or certain characters like doing the best for you right now, I can understand why you picked Term against Nicholas and them. You know?
Yeah, and like Term's a character that, again, like I don't think he's amazing, but he has this X factor of he can go high and he can go low. And if you're a player like Foxy, who I think
little high, little hey, little. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's one of the players in our scene that's really good at reading people, right? Like he was so good at ducking throws, even in MKX and MK9, right? He's very good at picking up patterns from their opponents, and that's a character that rewards that really well.
Truthfully well.
Right. So it's hard to put it's like because if you look at Terminator, he's like bottom tier, right? He's got so many whack things that are just like not great, but he's got the 50-50. And because of that, like no one like he doesn't I don't think he's good, but you can't put him at the bottom of the tier list, right? He's got to get bumped up a little bit because of that X factor he has. And
you got to guess at the end of the day. That's the bottom line. Like characters like that, him and Sub is like, yeah. Well, I don't want to actually compare Sub because Sub got a little bit more.
Sub's got more, yeah.
Yeah, he got more tools. But like at the end of the day, Term may not have the best buttons and all that, but he does have mix. And the bottom line is, I don't care how good you are, you have to guess.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of utility from him. Except EX Teleport. EX Teleport's pretty good.
Teleport's pretty good.
Zombat, I don't think he had a good answer for it.
Yeah, you can tell.
And like Game 5 especially, Foxy was really testing him with that.
Game 4, I think he choked, right? I'm trying to remember. Zombat.
That's
Zombat choke?
That's the game where Foxy has that sick defensive sequence and Zombat corners himself. I don't think it ended in the corner. I do think like something happened like mid screen. Like I think it was like a scramble and he tried to like force a throw or something. I could be wrong, but I think you're right. I think there was some choking going on.
But congrats to Foxy. He moved on from that, and then the next set would have been it was Ninja versus Unjust. Yeah, we can there's Ninja, really not much.
Look. Ninja won the tournament. No shame in losing this. Okay?
Yes.
But this is what something awakened in Ninja. And he just decided, I'm just not gonna approach people anymore. And my man was running
the entire time. He was practicing, really, because how many timeouts was in grand finals and winners finals? Losers finals.
I didn't record that, but like a few, right?
There was a lot. He was literally practicing for that. I feel like Unjust was a practice match for him to go, okay, let me focus on my keep away and my runaway game, because I believe actually the first win he had against Prox was a timeout when he met Prox in losers finals.
Right, and we'll talk about that matchup and how Fujin kind of struggles to chase himself down in that set. I thought that was interesting. Hilarious. But I mean, so many like watching Ninja Killa play this style, which is interesting because Ninja Killa is an MKX guy. He's a guy that didn't want to play Injustice 2 because he didn't like zoning, right?
But he had to adapt.
And then you see him on the biggest stage here with this uber defensive style. He was looking like Dragon out there, for God's sake. And there's just so many characters that just can't touch him because like that there's characters like this in every NRS game that love to play in the top corner, the top corner of the screen, right? Like Superman in Injustice, Hawk Girl in Injustice 1, right? Characters that just want to stay up in the corner of the screen.
I hate you.
And those characters always 7-3 a few characters in a game, right? Because like that's a weird spot to be in. That's a weird spot to chase people down, and I think Unjust knew that. That's why he didn't pick Jackie, because that matchup's kind of rough for Jackie, and he goes Kano instead because Kano he's got Kano Ball, which you didn't see too much, but he had it as a threat, and he had the eye laser pullback to kind of chase down a little
The
bit
bio
more.
pool. Yep.
The bio pull. But man, those are such hard commits, and you don't get there's not a high success rate on it. It felt like this set.
It definitely became kind of troublesome when just you saw really early. Like, man, the game plan was you saw the vision, but it was just like ninjas just playing. The matchup isn't like, okay, I'm just gonna make you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get the life lead so you can't see the vision.
Bro, people used to think Jackie beats Fujin. Isn't that crazy?
Hilarious to think about.
And then we talk about the Jackie match. I mean, Pro was running. Like, I don't think he even touched him that final round. Like, there was a point where, like, Ninja Killer gets a hit, and he gets a knockdown, and instead of pressuring, he just jumps and wind kicks away back full screen. Like, he had no interest in playing close. He just did not want to give an opening at all. And when you have that fucking wind push, like, it's hard, dude. It's hard.
What do you do? It's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do?
Anything else you want to say about the set? Other than Unjust played sick all day.
Yes, I'm proud of my boy getting in the top 6. He had 9th last year, 13th last year. So
yeah,
definitely.
Unjust is a guy who was absolutely ridiculous during like COVID time, right? Like we were living in the Unjust era during COVID. He was
21 times he won ESL.
He was winning everything online. It was ridiculous. And then we came back to offline, and he was by no means a slouch. Like, he had good placement still, but I don't think he lived up to what people thought he was going to be, right? I think people thought he was going to come back and be, like, threatened to win, like, every major he attends. And, maybe that would have been the case if the twins didn't spawn in, But I was
just... He's a twin himself, so yeah, hold that.
Yeah, he is a set. Are they twins or just brothers?
They're twins. They're twin brothers. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Koi and Unjust are twins.
Jesus Christ.
If you guys did not know, spoiler alert.
So yeah, it was sick to see him get a top 6. Not just a top 8, a top 6. So big shouts to Unjust. I'm happy for him. I don't have any notes for this set. I didn't want to. I was like kind of running low on time to like rewatch, so I skipped this set. The Mickey Mouse Winners Finals.
Oh yeah, skip.
Corny. I don't like. I actually I want to talk about it a little bit, not about the match. I think it's really annoying how our two best players don't play each other seriously. You know what I mean?
Brothers, goddammit.
I get it. They're family, and it's different, right? But like, Unjust and Kikoi don't do this. Honeybee and Bio don't do this. Like, DJT and MIT never did that. I mean, DJT was big brother.
Okay, what's the big difference between them and the freaking 15-year-olds, Bacon?
Well, okay, look, I get it. There's I understand there's a difference here, but I'm speaking purely from a selfish standpoint, is that I wish our two best players really went at it. Anyway, let's talk about Foxy versus Ninja.
Foxy versus Ninja.
Foxy, I think Foxy was right to not try Terminator. For starters.
Yeah, real early on, like, nah, don't even do that.
I think he watched the Unjust set and said, "Oh, that's how Ninja's playing." I'm going Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero is the closest like if you're not doing the mirror, I feel like Sub-Zero is actually no. It's between Kodo and Sub. I would say are the best options against Efusion.
Right, and I think like the Ice Ball trade coming in, not only trading with Wind Push, which is so in Sub's favor, it's ridiculous, and punishing Skywalker just to run away or just have an option to make him think twice about it is a really good tool. We saw him punishing Skywalker a lot and getting in. Foxy had a weird build too. It was like Ice Barrage, Air Axe, and Rising Ice. I feel like he kind of wanted EX Ice though as the set went on, because an adjustment that Ninja was making is that when he was running away, he would mix up between either staying in the air for longer to try to make Ice Ball whiff, or spending the defensive bar just to cancel it and drop to try to block the Ice Ball or duck it. I feel like EX Ice Ball punishes the cancel there.
Mm.
You know? Maybe he didn't want to play that game. Maybe he didn't want to spend his meter. He just wanted to check for it just to make him think about it. But there was a lot of situations where, like, I feel like EX Ice Ball kills him here, you know?
But yeah, EX Ice Ball was just not a factor, and definitely like the game Foxy was playing, but unfortunately, it was just pretty much a runaway from Ninja to see adjustments, as you just said, were going about. Foxy definitely in an early time, he was like, "Oh crap, this is looking possible." Then Ninja was like, "Wait a second, I am Fujin. I am the Wind God."
Yeah, the problem is too is that with his picks, he eventually moved on to Katana too, and I did not like this Katana pick because I think he was so concerned about making it so, like, I can chase him down. I don't want him to run away from me, and you can't run away from Katana like that, because Katana can deal with you if you're hanging out in the air. She has fan, you know, and that'll just check you. But like, Fujin does more than that. You know, Fujin's mid screen and close range is still better than anything Katana has. You know, and like fucking Ninja Killa just played the Katana zoning so fucking well. Like every time, I think he was in Half Blood stance. Foxy went. Every time the side came out, it was just wave dash forward. All right, he's past it. Every time a fan came out, it was duck, flawless block the second hit, short hop the low fan, flawless block, flawless, like, it was so silly.
Ridiculous.
It was silly. Ridiculous, what the fuck am I looking at?
You're looking at the optimal gameplay, my guy. Hold that.
It was so optimal. It was beautiful, to be honest. Like, make no mistake with all this runaway stuff. I'm a set I'm a zoner at heart. Like, I love it. I love to see Ninja Killa come to our side. But yeah, like, I did not like the Katana pick at all.
I mean, the twins said themselves that there's certain katanas that they play down in their area that they feel like actually do really good against Fujin. They said that, but I just don't know the variation that's probably used for that. But yeah, unfortunately, Foxy did not find the formula and fell pretty quickly to the man Ninja Killa.
Yeah, great performance by Foxy. That was sick. But speaking of sick, now we got the run.
Losers finals between Scorpion Prox. My theory is still correct that they always send Scorpion Prox down to losers to fight whoever. My theory has always been correct.
It's not always. I mean, they sent Nicholas for Rewind last year. It's not always.
Not always, but
I like my theory better, where they always set up for the person that lost the major, that didn't win last year, to win this year.
Yeah,
I think that's just facts.
They just take their turns, you know. Yeah. They just take their turns. But
Ninja.
What's it called? That said, I was scared at first. I ain't gonna lie. I was in the crowd. I'm looking at Ninja. When he lost the first game, I'm like, brother, please, I need you to get your shit together, like now, because I'm like, I just do not. No offense to the twins, I cannot see another twin grand finals. Please don't do this to me right now. Don't do this to me.
Yeah, I spoiler alert, but like once Ninja won this set, I was like, all right, we did it. No twins grand
moral
finals.
Victory, goddammit. It was a moral victory.
I wouldn't care who won, because they're both so deserving to be a champion.
Yes. Yes.
But I did not. If I saw Nightwolf in grand finals, I was gonna turn the stream off.
I was going to tear his actual eyeballs. It was going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Ninja, he persevered. After he lost the first game, he literally won the next three. He did a backdoor sweep, complete backdoor sweep, took out Prox, and Prox was nervous, and it was crazy looking at him because well, you guys know since I was actually there, I'm in the second row, and DJ and T7G are in front of me, and Scorpion Prox body language when he sat down, he's like, man, that guy's good. He sat down and was like, man, that guy's really good. He got me. Like, he got me. That's exactly what the body language was like when he sat down.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the world has done a better job checking the twins' movement than Ninja Killa. It was ridiculous, right? Because he was not biting on the shimmy setups that they would go for, right? Like we talked about earlier, like especially at Combo Breaker, people just whiffing against these guys. And I mean, fucking, I was whiffing against Prox when I played him at Combo Breaker. But Ninja Killa wasn't. Ninja Killa was just sitting there blocking, and you know he was just taking his turn. He was finding his gaps in their movement, and Ninja Killa was so much more defensive than the twins in this run. He was running from them because Fujin doesn't feel like he does super well in the Fujin, right? Like win push as a punish on Skywalker does not feel good. Like you do it once and you're like, sick, I got the KB, I got one part of the KB loaded. But then you're like, I don't really want to spend this bar to punish it again. Like it just feels so hard for him to chase down. And it wasn't until like the grand finals reset where I felt like Nicholas was like trying new things to chase down. But they were just running. It was rough.
Definitely was rough, man.
Yeah. Way more throw heavy than the Nicholas set. I remember we talked about Nicholas kind of conditioning Ninja Killa to stop throwing early on in winter semis. That was not the case for this run. Ninja Killa was throwing them.
He was throwing them like it was like the condition I was saying. Like I knew the nerves going into grand finals was definitely getting to both the twins. When I saw certain thing working that I did not see in the Nicholas set, what the Ninja was doing then, like it was like, man, they're both feeling the same pressure right now. They're like, this guy got some momentum. I'm scared. I am scared.
Right, like, and especially like when you look at like, because I understand he didn't play Prox, right? And maybe I'm doing a disservice by just by just assuming that the stuff Nicholas doing, Prox would do because they're the same fucking person. But
I mean, they came out at the same time, so goddamn, it might as well.
I said this before. Nicholas and Prox are not two different people. They're the same prodigy that spawned twice.
Literally.
Okay.
One just spawned 10 minutes earlier than the other.
It was 10
and
minutes.
It was 10 minutes. Yeah, it was like 10 to 5 minutes. I asked DJ about it. I want to know who the older twin was, and it was Nicholas. I mean, it was Scorpion Prox is the older one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, also Prox messed up an anti-air and died for it.
Yes, like that was the big like. I knew like Ninja was winning when by game 3. I knew he was going to grand finals when I saw Prox dropping things, and then also like he was just you can he. It was one point. I don't know if it was between Nicholas or it was Nicholas or Prox, but one of them messed up their wave dash and they was just blocking the Ninja's face, and I was like, yeah, this is over.
Oh,
this is over.
Yeah. I want to go on one quick rant before we move on from this set.
Go ahead.
I saw people like in chat and like on Twitter talking about like when his Prox did like down 3 anti-air into wind kicks and it whiffed. And people were like, oh my god, Mk1 lol. Guys, if you drop your combo, that's not the game's fault. Guys, I'm so tired of people just assuming that everything should work in a fighting game. But it's like, I guarantee you, like, Prox was not surprised when that happened. Like, I guarantee that Prox has played this game long enough that he knows that that can happen and that whiffs sometimes, and he took the risk to go for it. Like, you guys, like,
layers.
That's just how this works. That's how fighting games work. Not everything it works how you think it should in perfect scenarios, because fighting games like never have perfect scenarios. Like it's always like a little weird sometimes, right? Especially when you're doing an anti-air like that and you don't get perfect gravity. Like I hate MK Twitter. I hate it. The amount of times I see a clip where someone just like something very normal happens and then they just rage quit. And I was like, if you thought about it for like 2 seconds, you'd understand why that didn't work. You know what I mean? I don't
Like,
know.
yes, like the people don't put the thought process. But then again, you're expecting people on the internet to think bacon. So yeah, don't do that.
Dude, there's gonna, we'll have another episode one day when it's a slow news week, and I can fill a whole hour ranting about MK Twitter. Don't
It's
get
just
me
gonna be
wrong.
so funny. I'm just gonna be laughing the entire time when that happens, guys. But moving on to the grand finals.
And what a grand finals it was.
So one thing I would say, we can move straight into the reset. I feel like because the beginning was definitely like Ninja's momentum from the last set, definitely shaking Nicholas to the core, and he was just like, "Man, it's happening. This is what's going on." I feel like it was. I'm not gonna say it was a wash bacon, but I would just say like the second set was definitely the set to watch.
I agree, but I still want to stay in this first set because I
Okay,
think it sets up a lot of things that like got evolved in the
inspired.
reset, right? Like maybe not
Okay.
inspired, yeah, but it's like the first set like posed questions to Nicholas that he hasn't had to answer yet in his tournament career, and the reset he started to answer them a little bit more, right? So Nick, for starters, Ninja was playing so much more defensively than Nicholas, right? He had this runaway style. I mean, Ninja loves timeouts, man. It was timeout city
Yeah,
in this grand finals,
time out the world, boy.
and Nicholas was just way more impatient than I was used to seeing, which was so weird to me, right? Because Nicholas's movement is like the best in the world, right? It doesn't feel like he should be running into so many wind pushes. It
Mhm.
feels like he should just play patient and trust his movement that he is going to get in. That like Ninja Killer cannot keep him out like all day. Like, and he's feeling rushed because it's Fujin and Fujin can get out again with Skywalker and all this stuff. But I don't know. It felt like Nicholas was making a lot of really big reads to try to get in and wasn't just using his movement, which is so weird to see when watching one of the twins and Nicholas in particular, because Nicholas to me is like the Fujin specialist of the twins. Like, he has other characters, but he does not get off Fujin as much as Prox does.
Definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. There's so many layers to that set. It was just ridiculous, man. It was just
Hmm.
so many layers that I loved about it.
Yeah, I mean this first one looked dominant from Ninja Killer for sure.
Yes, it did. Like you just so Ninja was comfortable. Nicholas is definitely like, okay, crap, I'm in this moment. I don't.
Hmm.
I gotta figure out what I need to do. How do I stop this momentum? And he definitely going into the second set. He definitely did transfer that a lot. You saw the adjustments
Yeah.
that were made, and that's why I love the most about it. That's why I'm like, that second set was probably one of the. I know it's a Fuji mirror, but like,
Oh, it's an
man, I
all
was like
timer.
watching.
It's an all timer, and that's what I was hoping. Like going into this grand finals, like my expectations were this to be an all time NRS tournament set, which is a lot. It's a lot to put on any one set, but the reset was sick, dude. Like the storylines going on here with like Ninja Killer versus the twins and all that converging, and like game five, final round, last decision moment was just so sick. So this reset, let's talk about this reset.
The
Uh,
reset. So starting off, you see Nicholas's change of pace immensely.
mhm.
Like this, he felt like a different person was in that chair. I'm not even gonna lie to you. There was a point in time like, okay, I don't think Ninja could do this. I ain't gonna even lie because that's how different he felt. Nicholas was his movement was better, his decision making was better, and especially when I think the big thing from that was the big thing in that set. I noticed in the second one was the down one, the empty jump down one mind game was in play heavy.
Yes.
Like that mind game they were doing with each other with empty jump going into like was literally insane to me because they both of them knew that they was going to applause block and how the anti-airs was going as well.
Hmm.
Man, it was incredible.
Man,
That alone was just like just look back at that, guys. Just look back at that.
yeah. I mean, I think that one of the coolest things to watch as just this game has developed over the years is how people kind of deal with jump ins, right? Because for a while, people were just getting hit by jump kicks, right? And then people got better and better at anti-airing. There was an era where people were neutral ducking a lot of jump ins to kind of like beat cross ups, right? Just to kind of make them whiff. I remember there was
Mm-hmm.
one time during COVID where people were just empty jumping into the down two when people were getting really flawless block happy, and
Yeah.
it was very funny. And in this tournament, there was a lot of empty jumps. It looked like they were trying to deal with up block and MK11 and MK1. Like
Yeah.
even going in like I remember like watching Mako sets in top 24 that I mean he was doing that a lot. Like he was forcing these in his sets. He was forcing these kind of like empty jump situations, right? Where it was like empty jump down one, like you were talking about. And yeah, I mean, with these two players that will flawless block anything if they feel like it, you know, that was a really cool mind game to watch develop. I took note of that too. I mean, just their anti-air games was super cool.
And then tagging on to that with the down one, it's like you force the decision right there, which covered and bid on, is the wave dash or the back dash into back one or a throw. And like you have to make that split second decision right there.
Hmm.
And boy, that mind game was like incredible to watch real time.
Yeah,
So
and
then,
like Nicholas was getting away with Duck OS a lot in those mind games, right?
man,
Because the back one is for Fujin. It's 13 frames, right? So you can hit that timing, right? Because like throws are 10 frames, the mid's 13 frames. You know, you guys can do the math there, right? If your timing's sick, you can kind of deal with both. And that was getting Ninja Kill killed that first set. I mean, you talk about Nicholas had such good success beating throws, but in the first side of Grand Finals, Ninja Kill was going back to throws. And he was looking great. Here in the reset, Nicholas was okay. He was starting to get that mojo back. He was down twoing a lot of throws. He was getting a lot more success. Ninja didn't get off of it, which I think it was what ended up winning him the set. But yeah, I think Nicholas with a lot making more bigger reads defensively, not just relying on that kind of like OS. Which, by the way, Duck OS is not an OS; it's a fuzzy. I want to make that clear. Come on, guys. But I feel like he was making, it was way less flowcharty. I don't want to say flowcharty because these sets are sick, but I could see the adjustments there, which was really good to see from Nicholas. I was excited about that.
the Duck OS, I'm just gonna call it Duck OS because we've just called it for the years.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep it that way. Yeah, Duck OS, Ninja was actually talking about it like, bro, I could not throw that full in the beginning. It's just like it had to do intense conditioning. And that's what led
Yeah.
up to, we're going to talk about the last moment leading up to the set. So the last
Uh-huh.
round pretty much went into the mind game between strike throw was at the peak because I believe in the beginning, in the very beginning of the last round, Ninja got an escape failed. So people wonder why why is Nicholas not blocking? I'm like, brother, he has an escape
Yep.
failed. The next throw would be 30%. That's why he got back one twice and he went for the reset. Ninja did he did the back one string off of a whip, I believe, and then he canceled and then went to the other side. And this is where your average person would be like, okay, he's going for throw to get the 30%. No, he went for back one again because he know Nicholas was going for it, and he got hit yet again. And then what happened after that? Bacon, brother, that man
the throw
down one ante into fatal, and my heart exploded.
Oh
I was
yeah.
yelling. I'm like, how are you that composed? And Ninja was like, I talked to Ninja after, he was like, why did I jump right there, bro? He was like, I don't know why I jumped, but he jumped right in that moment, got fatal blow, everyone's heart exploded. That man, Nicholas' composure was incredible. And you can go over that last moment after that. Like,
Okay, I want to talk. I want to give a little bit build up because uh, Ninja Killa died earlier in this set for doing this. Right? There's a set where Ninja Killa had him cornered. He had throw KB, and you could tell, like, set even before he was ever throwing that Ninja was trying to force the throw, and he died for it. Right? Nicholas just jumped it and killed him and took the game. But you were talking about all the conditioning that happens, right? All the back ones he was hitting, all that stuff. My favorite part about a set that goes this deep, right? With how many games these two played throughout all these sets, in this top six, the conditioning goes so deep that reverts right back to the beginning to level one mind games.
layer 1 and layer 2 is
Layer
all that's using the set, bro.
And yeah, we went back to layer one. It looked like 2019 MK11. He just dashed up, back through him, and then fucking killed him with a KB. As it was meant to end. Like MK11, if there was a round for an MK11 tournament life, like the tournament story of MK11 to end, It was a round that had a clutch fatal blow to force a game-ending decision into a throw KB to close it out. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
what a great ending.
The crazy thing about it, that was a throw counter too. So he pressed something.
Yeah, I think
It
he
was
probably hit a poke
like,
because
but
throws.
like
Yeah,
throwing in that situation, brother. I'm like, oh my god, I was so scared, bro. I'm like, you really threw in that moment. He could have ducked. He could have killed you.
yeah.
A down 2K. I don't think he uses down 2KB in that set. So a down 2KB would have been GG's because you wouldn't have the help for it anyway to
Even
break.
just wake up stand one. Like I think 1-2 turbine wind kicks kills.
Like, brother, it was just like you threw and he won. And it was like, man, congrats
Yeah,
to Ninja, bro.
yeah, that was
Congrats to
sick.
Ninja.
It's especially great because Ninja was a player that a lot of people in this game felt like could be the best, right? And maybe was playing the best at his peaks at different points in this game. But I don't think you could have made that argument results wise, right? Because I think he won an NEC, I think it was. That was his big tournament that he won, and he got
Yeah.
second at
He got first and second the whole season, the whole final combat season with.
No, I think CEO he got like fifth or
Yeah,
something.
CEO was the only one, but like
But he
other
didn't
than that, he
compete in a
got first.
lot. He didn't compete in a lot of them, right?
Yeah,
He meant like
everybody.
this was his first Evo.
And you talking about Evo? Oh yeah, first
I mean,
Evo.
just in general.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just in general, because like he wasn't at Combo Breaker, he went to CEO, he wasn't at Evo, he won NEC, he got second in Final Combat. I don't know what other stuff he played in, like offline, like online. He won Evo and online too.
Yeah, Evo
that.
last year he only played multiverses, so yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to like. I mean, he's also like I think he's a guy that he's very young, and I think he's talked about it a little bit about like he's got this huge his brand is like I think you talked about it, like his brand is that like he doesn't lose and he's the best in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of pressure to put on him because I've been to tournaments where like Ninja Kill is there and he just doesn't enter. He's just hanging out. Right? I think that was at CEO one year, right? And you mentioned he was at Multiverses for Evo that one year.
Yes.
And I think he gets like again, I'm not a therapist. I don't want to like read into like someone's mental state, but I think it's totally normal to feel pressure in that situation. I hope this Evo win means that we go into next year for Mk1 and Ninja Killer got a fat sponsorship. He's at every event, and let me tell you why. Because I want us to go into Mk1 and I want to see a top 8 for one of the early top 8s for Mk1 that has Scorpion Prox, Nicholas, Ninja Killer, Sonic Fox, Rewind, Dragon,
Foxy.
Foxy, and like Scar. Like I want to see that top 8.
You're ridiculous, bro.
That'd be the most stacked top 8 in NRS history.
But there's a thing though. Every new game has new stars rising, and we have new stars rising. Remember how many new players we got during quarantine? Not just like undressed, but there's hella.
Oh yeah. This I think that
we're at peak.
The talent level of NRS players grew more in MK11 than any other game. I think the jump from Injustice 2 to 11 in terms of just pure talent is bigger than any other like game to game. Right? Like I think Injustice 1 to MKX was a really big jump. I think this is bigger. But yeah. Let's just like I want to go into like MK1 stuff, but I think this podcast is gonna. Do you have the heart out at 8, or you just want to move on, or?
Move on. We don't have the heart out at 8, but I just need food. But like we can hold off on that.
Okay, because I wanted to do like a little. We're already like an hour in. I wanted to do like a retrospective on MK11 a little bit, but I think that could be its own episode. Just talking about the story of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's a good episode for a podcast. Dude, we're pretty good at this content thing. I think that'd be a pretty damn good episode.
We're getting content out there.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, Evo was sick. If you guys haven't watched it, check it out. At least watch the from Losers Finals on, because that was, even though it was Fujin mirrors, it was some of the sickest shit you'll see.
24 in general was actually top 24 to top 6 would be pretty good. That's a nice time to watch.
Crazy high. I mean, this is like. I think people talk about like the game was figured out at this point, and that's like I think that's a dumb narrative because you don't know if a game is figured out because you don't know what the game looks like if we kept playing for another year. You know, we don't because I don't think every matchup's fleshed out. Like I don't think we explored every Fujin counter yet.
You never like after talking with DJT, he really expanded my mind. He was like, "You never truly know a matchup."
Yeah, so I there was some talk about this narrative of like, oh, the game's figured out, especially from outside the community. I don't believe that because I think every time I look back, like the Necros playing a game, it's like, oh, there's some character that I did not think would be here. It's hard to project going forward like that, and especially since I don't think MK11 now plays anything like how it played, year two, year one, right? And I think we felt pretty comfortable with where we were at that point. I don't think we would have seen the game getting to this level, but it's still the highest level play we'll ever see for this game, I think.
Yes, truthfully.
So, yeah. Whew. That's an hour in. We covered Evo. Now let's talk about all the MK1 news. Do you want to talk about? Did you play it at the show floor that day?
No, I actually played Project L. I'm not gonna lie,
Okay, you
Project
did
L
it.
caught my
All right.
attention.
Oh, I want to talk to you about that. But all right, you want to talk about the trailer or movement first?
The movement before, because we're gonna do it in chronological order. So movement was shown a little bit earlier. They did implement a little bit of a wave dashing slash MK9 ish,
Yeah.
and I'm liking it.
Yeah, and like I think a good thing to talk about here is what makes it different from what makes 9 and 11 movement different. To me, right? Because I played a little bit of 9. Believe it or not, my first NRS game was MK9. I know I'm old, uh, but to me, in MK11, when you try to wave dash, like there's a reason why it's wave dash. Like people call it wave dashing more than block dashing because it's a lot more technical than it is in 9. Like I feel like in MK11, you can have a bad wave dash, right? Where you go for it and your character just like whether you did it too early or you did it too late and your character just like doesn't cancel or they just don't go anywhere. Like I mean you were talking about like Prox was getting nervous and was messing his up. I don't think you can really do that in 9. Like I feel like 9 like characters dashes, they don't necessarily speed up as they go the way they do in 11. It's kind of always like pretty good to go for. Like there's not a lot of if you watch high level MK9, there's not a lot of walking in that game.
Straight movement, straight
Yes.
movement, straight pressure.
And MK9 at like the highest level by the end of the game's life, that was all movement. Like that game was movement. You played footsies. Like that's all you kind of did. The top tiers did a little bit more, but I mean, that game came down so much to your spacing and movement, it was kind of ridiculous.
Too
And
much.
yeah. And it looks like 11's following that footprint. So I played the stress test a little bit. I think you played a little bit more than me, but I
No, you
thought
probably played more than me.
oh,
I watched a decent amount, but I didn't get to
okay.
play too much as CEO.
But like a lot of stuff about the game felt good to me, right? Like the walk speed already felt good. That didn't really need to
Yeah.
get touched. The jumps felt bad, and that's a good thing. I've seen some people on Twitter saying fix the jumps. No. Uh, Stop jumping. But the dash is like I was okay with slower movement because I loved MK11 beta movement. I love walking back and forth, making people with, playing honest to God, blue collar, hard working footsies. But I get it. Like dashes did feel useless in that build.
Mhm.
And dashes didn't get faster or farther, but you couldn't dash cancel them a lot easier now. And I watched some content creators like Uncaged and like Max like talk about it because I wasn't at the event, so that was like the best way I got. And they were talking about like I don't know if the movement's where I want it yet. I don't know if it's there. And it's like, brother, did you watch the grand finals of MK11? Like dash blocking makes the game faster. Like I don't know if I want to see the game MK1 get that much faster just because I don't want Fujin to happen again.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a little silly. Um and especially like I think they still want MK1 to be like a ground based like MK9 style, MK11 style footsie game. And when you put the cameos in like that, if you make movement too oppressive with cameo, like stuff like Kano Ball cameo from Kano, like that game's gonna get silly really fast.
really,
And
really quick.
yeah, and I feel like they found a really good balance of making a game that is one can be kind of honest and neutral, where you're playing footsies, it's hard to jump in that game, but you got this little spice that crank in, and I think they're very careful with the cameo balance, with what's summoned, what's not. Um, every time you see an ambush, you can very clearly see obvious drawbacks to it in neutral and why it's not super oppressive. Like there's no Dragon Ball style Kamehameha assists, right? No beam assists in this game. The way
There's
they're
at least not yet that we know of.
yeah, there's no crazy lockdown stuff with that doesn't have like some obvious drawbacks to it. Um, so yeah, I think the movement feels good, and I would be scared if it got better. I don't think it should get better.
Yeah, with the cameo, like people don't take into the fact that like we don't know what every cameo can do and
Hmm.
what's going to be the factor. Like the movement, in my opinion, was fine because we still don't know what the cameos are going to do to other people, and some cameos affect movement as well. So combine that, if you have crack fast movement and a great cameo that
Right.
has mobility too, it can get kind of crazy. So that's why I'm like, I wanted it to stay the way it was, and we're going to see how it goes. Probably
Yeah.
everything in due time, but for now, I'm really liking it so far.
Yeah, and there's like this perception too with MK11 that 11's a really slow game. And people are looking like, oh, MK1 has MK11 movement now. Oh, it's still too slow. But I don't think that's fair at all. MK11 is only a slow game if you're bad at the movement. And there is execution threshold, right? And there are some characters that don't move as well as others. Like Baraka comes to mind, like a character that really struggles with the movement. But characters like Kotal, Sub, Fujin, Cetrion, like those characters get around. Those characters schmoove. And I think especially since a lot of the damage in MK11, when the game got really explosive, comes from conditional hits like KB, Fatal Blow, which is what the game's built around. It's built around these big pivotal moments in a fight. In MK11 or MK1, God, I hate that name. Your I feel like you get more
Getting
consistent.
mixed.
You get more consistent like 35% damage combos. Like
Yes.
every hit it kind of leads to more. Whereas 11, it was every hit leads to a little less than you would think, and then KBs led to way more than you normally did. So, and if you have a match in 11 where you didn't hit a KB or you didn't get Fatal Blow, that feels really slow. I don't think that's gonna be the case in MK1. I feel like MK1, like the offense is gonna be explosive enough that it's even like with similar movement speed, even a little slower than 11, because at the highest level, 11 is a very fast like movement game. It'll still feel generally faster to the broad player base, which is important. It's important that you know just like random streamers like Max, for instance, enjoy the game because that's a big really affects the perception of it for like outside the NRS scene.
I can agree with that. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's like we don't have the finished product, so that's why like I wish a lot of people don't speak on stuff. But we live on this. I also feel like it's because time we live in on Twitter now. Like
Hmm.
definitely the devs and whatnot. Now that we're interacting more online, they definitely listen to it. and They definitely just put a little pressure on them. Like I would feel like Imai is lying saying that devs don't look at some of these tweets and feel a little pressure from people when they ask about certain things like that. So and then definitely don't take it into consideration when tweaking. But I just hope they don't
Yeah.
fall too much to listen to everyone because some things are actually like let it we actually finish the product and then release a patch to see how it goes.
Right. I hope the distance on dashes doesn't get crazy, because that was the thing in
Exactly.
11. Like 11 dashes go pretty far. In this game, they don't like at all. They're more MK9 style, and I think that's a good balance. Like, let us cancel them because that feels very MK. I think when I think about like things that are very MK specific, I think about block button, and now I think about dash canceling, right? And so I think it's good that it's back. Keep the distance down. Make like dash canceling, great for crossing the screen and general traversal, but make it for like micro spacing and footsies, right? Like just kind of like very small adjustments to kind of because that's what neutral in NRS games has been in like 9 and 11. Not really in X, but that's because X is a bad game. But yeah, just like this micro spacing with your dashes.
Micro spacing is key. Spacing is key. People just don't understand this.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that dog shit down 2 thing that's in the game now?
I like it actually.
I don't. I think it's neat, but I'm never gonna use it. It costs 2 bars. All right, let.
I think it's interesting just to take away from like the down 2 KBs, like still keep it as a punish, and you get a pop up. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. It's neat, right? I feel like it'll probably get be 1 bar at launch. That feels like a very obvious change to make. But essentially, for those that don't know, it's the same requirements for a down 2 KB in 11, right? Where you duck a high and punish or counter at the high. But instead of getting like this, like, boom, their fucking chin breaks and you get a big combo, like your down 2 is the same amount of damage, like 14%, as opposed to 19% in 11. And you can spend a bar to jump cancel your down 2. So it's not it's not like a very clean launch. It's like you jump up, you get an air string. Some characters like I guess like Lee May or you know Scorpion can probably do a little bit more with their air stuff, but it does cost 2 bars in this build, and because of that, I don't see a reason to do it. You know, you're never going to get me to spend 2 bars on a launcher. Unless it's like MKX armor stuff.
We, like I said, we don't know how fast meter is, and
yeah, but even then, like even if I got meter back, like even if this was 11 and my meter regenerates automatically, I feel like I would rather just stand up and hit a jab than spend all like 2 bars on a launcher. That's not even a clean launcher; it's a jump cancel launcher. But yeah, it's just neat. I don't think there's a lot to really talk about it because it's not a very complicated mechanic, you know. But I don't know. It's cool. At least I want to see some cool combo videos with it.
yes.
But yeah. All right. Trailer now.
Trailer. Oh my goodness.
I think we should speedrun the trailer.
You said what?
I think we should speedrun the trailer.
Yeah, speedrun the trailer. So, first off, wait, we talking about the one we saw at DreamCon / the Garrus one was.
Fuck, right? There's a dream. All right. DreamCon trailer was cool. We'll get to Garrus later. DreamCon trailer is cool. Liu Kang Fatal looks cool.
Like, goddamn.
I think that it looks dope. I'm never gonna do it because I don't do fatalities. But I like that Garrus. I think Garrus working for Liu Kang is a cool change. That's probably like. Yeah. That's probably.
I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, I'm glad he's back too. I would have been interested to see like what he did. My theory was that he was gonna be like old timeline Garrus, and he was gonna like be like haunting Liu Kang as like a specter from the old world. But this is cool too. I like seeing Garrus have a personality outside of Chronica because that was something that both him and Cetrion suffered from, is that they were so tied to that character. And you know, I know Cetrion's never coming back. I've accepted that. But yeah, Garrus is cool. All right, we'll talk about Garrus later. All right, let's talk about. Shouts to DreamCon. Really sucks. Really, it sucks. I had to watch that tournament to get here. But shoutouts.
I was there. I was there, guys. But yeah. But going to the new one. So yeah, the new trailer we saw Reptile. Who else did we see? Reptile showed the show to me. I'm sorry. Reptile showed the show for me. Astra and
Havoc. And Serena cameo.
But definitely Reptile stole the show for me, man. I'm sorry. Just the fact that he's going from his lizard transformation to human, incredible. Chef's kiss to the devs and the creative minds over there in RS. Astra, haven't seen her since was Armageddon. She first appeared in Deception. Definitely a new look, but oh my gosh, she seems cool. I'm loving the sword. I love what she does with the sword.
We'll get to the cast.
And then
Havoc, I like how he takes his arm off. That's cool. I wasn't like, his hair is freaky to me though. His hair is like too like pretty boy hair. I will say that. But he looks sick. Shouts to Crazy Fingers. I like that he takes his arm off. That's kind of cool. You know, Havoc and Astra.
I like the fact.
Yeah, Havoc and Astra are like 2 of those 3D characters where like I don't think they were good in the 3D era, like character wise, but you could look at that and it was like, I think they should try that again. You know, kind of like Fujin. Like Fujin looks really corny in MK4, but I'm looking at him and I'm like, let's do
This
this
is a
again.
dope character.
There's something here, right?
That's a
Like
dope character, bro.
he's not like fucking, fucking Darius, right? Where it's like, okay, you can sit on the shelf, even though you're coming back as a cameo, I guess. He's not one of those 3D characters. He's like, okay, there's an idea here that I would like to see expanded on. Maybe change a lot, but there's an idea.
I'm just gonna point out that Havoc, when during his fatal blow, when he was punching him, he's punching him so much that his hands are coming off,
Yeah.
and he stabs you with the bone.
Yeah, that's cool.
The design in this game and the animations that they have done have been incredible.
We're gonna have to ban Havoc in this game because like we just can't monetize him on YouTube or Twitch. Like,
It's the fact that people say want to monetize. We are done. We are done. So it's over.
We're gonna get banned, dude. Serena cameo looks cool too. Like we saw, she has like these sighs that she throws and they come back, and it's not an ambush, but like you can act out of it like when they're coming back, which is cool. So it's still kind of lockdowny, unless those are highs, but I don't know. Probably are. She had this ambush where she does like an uppercut thing. That was cool. He like anti-aired with it, which is sick. And she's got like this spell circle, which is interesting to me because it's an ambush. And a lot of times, like something like a Quan Chi, it was Sorcerer Quan in MKX where he had stuff like that. But the balance of it was, okay, you get this really powerful effect with this circle, but you need to knock down for one. You need a very specific knockdown with enough hit advantage to actually guarantee this because of the startup. This doesn't have that balance. It's an ambush. It happens whenever you want, and you can act during it, right? So I'm very curious to see what effect it actually is.
Let me see. Time will tell for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's really cool. Trailer was sick. Tento, why don't you talk to us about this Kombat Kast? Why don't you talk to us about Smoke? Because I need to catch my breath.
Go ahead. Smoke is a character, okay? That man has some sauce, my guys. Let me tell you something about this character, Smoke. Not only can he turn invisible off of pretty much all two of his big special moves that combo enders, it's the fact that he has cameos on top of it to counter that. Like, the fact that this man literally, and I mean literally, is anti-zone, but then you could put a cameo to counter the anti. Like, the layers in this game, Smoke is the reason why I'm looking at this game and saying like this game is literally going to be pick your character, look at their weakness, and then use the cameo to cover that weakness, and you can make the perfect, like literally the perfect character combinations with this game. It's going to be incredible, but it's also going to be stupid. And Smoke is already looking dangerous. The mix that he has between overhead and low, alongside of his cameo being able to, the cameo they showed was Frost, and Frost has a projectile immune. No, it was Frost.
No, Sub-Zero.
You want to bet money on this?
Yes.
All right, it's $5. It was Frost.
I'll bet $1 million.
I bet $5 Frost.
All right. All right, but it was Sub-Zero. That had the projectile armor.
I'm looking it up now, guys. So I see if I got this dickhead.
People know I'm right. The people know I'm
right.
I literally just watched it because I know I can because Frost has the low, the two strike ones on neutral, and the orb. She doesn't have the armor.
So what does do $5? We're about to find out.
You know I'm right. You're doubting it now.
I'm not doubting it. It was Sub-Zero. God damn it. I got all that. He gets $5 from me. But anyway, but yeah, like this, the fact that you like, that's what makes this game so serious. You're gonna have characters that literally you just all you gotta do is just like the meta for the game. I can always see is literally you pick your character, experiment with them, see what weakness they have, and then pick the cameo that covers that weakness. That's literally it. That's literally gonna be the name of the game.
That's gonna be day one, I think, for sure. Like any character,
that's gonna be long term.
Like I feel like every grappler day one is going to pick like the Sub-Zero thing, so he can like just get in and stuff like that. But I do think that I think you're simplifying a little bit too much, right? Because I think there should be a lot of cameos that let you be super oppressive in a lot of situations, right? That give you very strong offense, right? Like kind of like over the top offense. Like I could see a character that's like a very setup heavy character who, maybe they have a weakness against, like zoning, right? And they might want this projectile immune, but instead they're like, well, if I get one hit, I might kill them with my offense. And this cameo lets me set that up more, right? And that might change, some of the meta, right? Like I'm thinking about like Kenshi, for instance. And I think Kenshi has some weaknesses, right? Because I think I could see him getting zoned out in some matchups where people can stay out of range of like EX push. The other EX push, not the normal one that we're used to. But I don't see him going any cameo that doesn't let him cancel like combo into stance change, because I think that character is all about getting a hit and going into stance. So I think you're okay with that weakness if it can make your offense even better, your win condition even better. So I'm not sure I agree with you, but we'll see, because I think just the sound of that, we're gonna be picking different cameos at launch.
I'm picking. Well, I'm letting you guys know I'm a Baraka main. Baraka just so far is just like the character that really sold me. I'm gonna be playing Baraka.
That's a bad
But
decision.
you say what?
That's a bad decision in every game, dude.
I don't care.
I'm gonna play
But
top
what's it
tier.
called? The cameo that's gonna be used. I just don't know. We're gonna see.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Smoke. I kind of like some of the ideas with him, because Shake is gone for starters. Thank fucking God. And instead, his mind game is more, do I let this rock? Do I let this like unsafe move just rock and hit you? Or do I spend the bar to cancel it or turn invisible off of it and push my offense here? Right? Because it's going to be like, oh, he throws a smoke bomb, teleports, he hits you, right? And maybe you block it the first time, you punish him. The second time it comes around, he throws it, spends the bar, lands, and then he's going to throw you while he's invisible, right? Like that's a very, very kind of like obvious level 1 mix-up that's going to be with this character, I think day 1 when we all boot this game up. And that's more
What
interesting
about
than
layer 3
Shake.
though?
Yeah, that's more interesting than Shake, because Shake is just, it's a boring move. It's just like checkmate. Like, oh, you threw a projectile? Nope. This
Like,
is, yeah.
oh my god, you just make me think there's gonna be 3 layers in this game now though. It's not gonna be layer 1, layer 2. It's layer 1 is gonna be strike, layer 2 can be throw, and layer 3 is what you do with your cameo. Like the fact that you just said that, you just said he's going invisible and then you go for the throw. What's to say he doesn't use Kano ball, hold it, and brother, like this is no.
Yeah, sets it up for free. You also have stuff.
God.
You also have stuff like his fade, which now is like a command dash in a way. And you can cancel it and get pressure like that. It's an interesting design, right? And I know they talked about the 50-50 a lot too, but we didn't really see it that much in the set they did. It makes me wonder if that back two is like cancelable or if it's just like the string and knockdown. But there's not a ton of 50-50 characters in this game, it feels like. Because like the one that was in the beta was sub, but even then back two was like 20 frames, which is reactable. If you had your coffee in the morning, you know?
You could say that, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
20 frames is reactable on a good day, you know? You'll get hit sometimes, but it is like you can react to it. But yeah, Smoke seems interesting. He's very cancel heavy, which I think is really cool, because I think any mind games that are based on like staggers and cancels and stuff like that is really cool in an MK game, just because the way block button works, you really have to commit to the counter poke, versus something like Street Fighter where you're like mashing super while you're blocking, and the moment a gap comes out or like a drive impact comes out, it's just fucking level 1.
Level
that doesn't really
1.
happen in NRS games. You can't buffer like that. So I think cancel in like Rekka mind games and like staggers are really cool, and it's very MKE to me. So I like that Smoke is really built off of that in this game.
Smoke is definitely looking like a character that's he's also a fan favorite, so they got to give him a service by making him decent. That's usually what it is. Yes. Like fan favorites, he just
I love Spider-Man. Fun fact, fun fact. Smoke in MK9 was the first character I ever played.
Terrible,
I beat all my friends at a birthday party just spamming smoke bomb.
terrible.
That's how I knew I was his owner.
What a guy.
But yeah,
What a
who
guy.
else do we got? We have Astra and we skipped Lee May, didn't we? We'll just talk. We'll circle back to her.
Ashra, she is definitely interesting in the fact of she has a she's probably feel like she's kind of like Liu Kang from MKX with what's it called
Oh,
his duelist
duelist?
variation,
Yeah.
because she has a light and a dark stance, so that's very instant that she has to switch between the two, and then she has to keep to effect of what it does. So I really can't wait to see get my hands on her, what she does with that. As a character overall, it just seems like I don't. I gotta play her. Just like seeing her from the Kombat Kast, she seemed like, I don't want to say dull, but definitely like on a pure stand form. I feel like she's one of those characters that by herself, okay, she's average, but with the right cameo, can be really crazy.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more optimistic about her. Like after watching this, I think she really shot up the characters I was interested in playing, right? Like I will be in the lab with Astra day one. She will be one of those characters for me.
Okay.
And I think part of the big thing to me about how this character feels is how natural does going into Dark Stance feel? Because she had like her big gimmick, right? She's very sword based. She's got big normals to press. But her gimmick is she has this stance, which I know you talk about like it's like duelist, which
Yeah.
it's like thematically that is what it is. But it's not like a stance. You can't stay in it. It's more like a trait from Injustice, like
Okay.
this temporary state you can enter. Remind me of Raven trait almost, but it's very interesting because you go into dark stance for like a little bit to set up for light stance later on. And I'm very curious to see how fluid this character is, because if it's clunky, if like getting from stance to stance is clunky, like how it is for Kenshi, uh, it can feel really bad. Now it works for Kenshi because his second stance is so strong, and this getting into stance is his win condition. But for Astra, it looks like you get into stance, and then you get out of stance, and then you have your win condition set up when the orbs are around them. So that's very interesting to me. But I like the fact she has a sword all the time. It always annoys me when like Mortal Kombat characters have a sword, but they like have it like in the sheath. Because
Gears.
yeah, they only pull it out for a few normals. Oh, we'll talk about Garrus. But yeah, I thought
That's why I
Ash.
guess MK11
Yeah,
with the sword, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, Astra is very interesting, and that command dash looks super cool. I think there's so many mind games with that. Like the fact that you
Yes.
can like go through them and like come out the other side, do it in the air. Like I'm just imagining like baiting it down too by doing like a really short command dash to like just phase through it. Yeah, I think there's that character I'm very intrigued by. Before we talk about Garrett, you want to talk about Frost cameo?
Um, cameos, this definitely seems like more of something I want to look into, because she has that rush down like full screen. Like it was just basically a whole bunch of barrage of hits, and then it's sent to full screen.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
that would be
Trident
very
Rush.
interesting. Like, definitely going to be interested in seeing her. I'm definitely going to explore her more. The cameos just by himself is going to have to just be a day where we all just like, man,
Oh yeah,
what the hell do these guys do?
bro. What if for this game we did MK? Remember when in like MKX when people were making tier lists for each individual variation?
Yes.
What if we had tier lists for like each cameo possibility?
Oh,
Like,
that's definitely going to be a thing.
I mean, it's not going to be a thing because that would be a really long tier maker page. But I could totally see people like for this character, like how they do matchup charts, just like here's the cameo chart for this character. But Frost is interesting because she's like the remember the Kung Lao cameo where it's all summons. There's no ambushes, which immediately to me, I it's like a red flag. Like, oh, I kind of want an ambush, but there's a lot of utility in this character. She's got the full screen low, which is really cool. It's a launching low. It does feel like you could probably fuzzy it with a lot of like the overhead low setups that they were talking about it because it is a little slow, but that's still really good. The neutral stuff looks interesting because it looks like she has like creeping ice and then like the punch walk trident rush thing. But the Trident Rush part looks slow, right? Like it looks like there's a gap. So like my mind immediately goes to like, oh, you condition with the normal one and then set up for the longer one to get the chip. I will see how long it takes for us to get to that level, but that's interesting. That's some cool utility, especially for like a zoner. And the ice ball is really interesting. You know, because it sets up those like throw Oki where you get like launching throws.
The throw Oki is really interesting because what happens again? Like what happens again when you don't have your cameo though, but you do a forward throw? It's a shove, right?
Shove, yeah, and that works. Like, I mean, we were talking about like, yeah, the shove makes the strike throw mind game a lot less scary after you like lock him down with the cameo. But there are some cameos like this one where, oh, never mind, like it's setting up for that. But yeah, it is very slow though. Like I'm very like, what kind of knockdown do you need to like guarantee that mix?
We're gonna find out when we get the game.
For sure. All right, Garrus.
Garrus.
Or you want to talk about Goro first?
Goro, they upgrade. Oh well, did you like his size now? They said they touched him up a little bit.
He's a little bigger. I don't think he's big enough though. There's no chonk. There's not enough chonkers in this game.
You need chonky boys.
I need a chonky boy. I need
that Rob Gronkowski, okay?
I need a Ferritor kind of boy. I need a not Injustice 1 Bane, not 2 Bane, 1 Bane. I need like a Grundy. Like I want some chonkers on this roster. Dude, shouts to Grundy being the biggest character in the game and having one of the smallest hurt boxes when he crouched. That was really funny. Little fun Injustice 1 fact from Bacon.
Funny Injustice 1 fact.
He had punch walk.
Cool as shit, brother.
Yeah, I like his design, but he has like punch walk, which is a summon, up 2 from Mk1, which is an ambush, which is very interesting. Because that's not a move where it feels like, oh, that's a hitbox I want all the time, because it's a very linear hitting attack. So I'm curious how it is in this game. He has the launcher, which praying to God that's not a command grab. Praying to God. It is a summon, but praying to God. And he has stomp.
That stomp, and it uses all your meter too.
It does, but I mean that's still nice. Like it reminds me of like remember when Tremor first came out in MKX and OTG the Unblockable when it OTG'd, it didn't scale as hard. And it was just like, oh, here's just a free damage extension. Like that feels like a situation where if you anytime you can guarantee this Goro stomp, like it feels worth it in a lot of cases. But yeah, we'll see. That's another character cameo where it's like, yeah, I don't know how much Goro's gonna cover because he doesn't have a ton of utility. But if you're playing a character that can force the stomp a lot, like and synergizes really well with it, that feels really good. So, yeah. All right, Garrus, you talk for this one because
Garrus, man, this guy. So he has time stop again, which is amazing, and it has a new quirk with it too, where you have a move that stores a clock for you, and he has a projectile absorb where he goes behind you afterwards after he absorbs a projectile, and then you freeze.
Yeah. And he has the like the rewind combo breaker move again.
Yes, that's like, brother, he is insane. I'm loving his air combat. Grappler heavy, you feel like the force between his hits as well. He has multiple enders in the air as well to switch positions. And can we talk about his clothesline move, bro? Like he had a clothesline move where he tossed him, brother. Like that was his command grab. I didn't know
that
it was
his command grab, dude.
Oh my god, it looked incredible. I love it. Okay, I love it. This character, I got it. I understand why Gur is very happy. Okay, very happy.
Oh, this
so
is
much
a Gur
utility.
Character.
Yeah, so much utility. So many things he can do. And like he's one of those. He's a character where I see him. Okay, stand alone, you look crazy. When you have multiple cameos, I can see you going multiple routes for any way you want to go. Like so much combo potential, so much setup potential that he can possibly have. Like God, he's amazing.
Yeah, and I will say the weirdest thing about him is that ethereal stance, whatever they called it. where it's like you take a hit and you go back to where you were. Like, is that good? Do we think that's good?
So what do you say that's good?
The ethereal stance where he would like turn in the sand, and if he ate a hit or a projectile, he would like teleport back to where he started. Like that feels bad for a character.
We're gonna see how it plays out. He gets his health back. There's probably some recovery frames on that, and then you can also think about the fact, Bacon, that you can probably set up a cameo to cover that option. You know?
I guess, but it feels like when you get that set up, like that feels really good for a character with sand trap. But if you're playing a character that needs to get, like a grappler that needs to get in, it's like, oh, I ate a projectile. Now I'm full screen again. Like, I don't know. There'll be some cool stuff with it. Like, I bet there'll be like you set it up on knockdown, and then like you go for like a meaty command grab, and they duck it and punish it, but now you're just back. I bet there'll be. Oh, god damn it! I just talked myself into it. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck this character, dude. Also, whatever the fuck EX ethereal stance is, where you get both of them acting at once. I have no idea how that's gonna work, but if I have to deal with a grappler that's locking me down with a fucking clone of himself, no sir, no sir, I am
We're having
not
a good time.
fighting a grappler puppet character. Nope, 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 nope.
We're gonna have a good time, man. Don't worry about it.
Nope, I am not dealing with that.
We're gonna have a great time, brother.
I'm gonna have a great time, especially when I'm talking about Lee May, who we still need to talk about because holy fuck, so much has happened since the last time we recorded.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened. Lee May is a character that definitely seems like, I feel like she's honestly a reskinned Sonya. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I can see that. I was getting I remember her trailer. I was getting Canary vibes from a lot of her animations.
Yeah, like she definitely feels like a slight reskin of Sonya with just a couple more options. So like, that's what she felt like to me. But she looks cool. Definitely flashy. I feel like she's just really flashy and has a lot of good tools that can be pop ups or explosions with her like a little firework type beat. And definitely, I feel like it's all around character with once again right cameo. I don't feel like she's as strong as Gears, I would say, but definitely like in the round of Ashras where I was like a fairly like decent character, but with the cameo can make them complete type thing. That's why I see it in her.
Yeah, she seems very simple, right? Very straightforward in a lot of ways. She has Lantern, which is interesting though, where she sets up. It's almost like Kun Jin's down back 1 in X.
Okay.
Where you set up that like fireball that's floating up in the air. Except it's a lot. Yeah, but it's a lot slower in this
game. So there's more time to set up, and along that, tag that along with the fact that you got air combos. Oh man.
Yeah, and you can interact with it with her air fireball because you can do like an air fireball, and if it hits the lantern, it brings the lantern down a little bit, and then it detonates it. Right. So there's a little bit of interactivity there. Which is kind of cool because I've seen people trying to instant air with Lee May and they couldn't. It wasn't low enough to actually hit the opponent, and we'll see. Well, once hitbox players start playing her, we'll see if that's true. But it was low enough to interact with the lantern, so it seems like she has some interesting zoning options. Like I agree, like she feels Sonya-y in the sense that she's got maybe not the best buttons in neutral, but pretty good offense and a really good projectile to control space with. I would agree with you.
Yeah, we're gonna see how she plays out. She's definitely interesting. I can't wait to see. The lore and the story wise is really what's actually capturing me, especially after the reptile trailer. I'm not gonna lie. So like that, I'm actually more interested in like what she's got to do story wise, but gameplay wise, she definitely does. Like I said, flashy character, really look pretty. I know she's gonna have some nice combos, and the combo potential between her, especially with the setups with the Lancer, is gonna be very nice.
Yeah, I'm different than you. I don't care about the story or the lore.
No, oh my god,
less. I don't care. I'll play the story mode once, and I'll never think about it again. But I think she's cool. Sector cameo we gotta talk about too. Because there's so much news. We saw a Sector cameo.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've seen everything he has. So he has Teleport, which is a summon, which is a tracking attack that launches, which seems pretty good. We have Flamethrower, which is like it's like the EX flamethrower in MKX, where it's like it's not just a straight one like it is in 9 or the non-metered one in X. It's the where he flails his arms around and does a lot of fire, and that looks plus a trillion on hit. Like I think that's the idea with it, where it's probably a wake up too, because some cameos
Mhm.
can be wake ups, and it hits once, and then you just get a free strike throw. I doubt it's a combo because that's not really how plus frames work, and hit advantage works in MK games, but it's a bajillion hit advantage to jail whatever you want.
Mhm.
And he has homing rocket, which is a ambush.
Love it.
Well then,
Game's gonna be funny, ain't it?
this is gonna be a
Ain't it?
funny game.
Definitely gonna be interesting how people abuse Rocket Sector. Already like I didn't get to see too much of them because I actually didn't see that part. But from what what I'm expecting to see
It's
is
exactly what you think.
right. Yeah, I'm about to see rockets. I'm about to see this man with set play and a gap. Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. Okay, it's gonna be
Yeah.
hilarious. I cannot wait to see the setups we're gonna see with those rockets in play and see like he's gonna be like combine him with a trap character, Bacon. Oh
hmm
my god.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that, like I love the character designs in this game because it feels like we're getting these cool archetypes again. Like I love seeing set play characters in this game, right? Because like my favorite fighting games is Justice One. Justice One is set play city, my man. Like
Yeah, we we we, we know.
you knock someone down like that, and like your forward three is crossing them up. If they try to wake up, they're going the wrong way. Like it is the most ambiguous shit in the world, and I want that in MK because we don't really get that in MK because the block
Battle
run.
Rain garbage can.
That's not set play, but it
No,
is
that
fun.
was goddamn it was the play was set, goddamn it. Okay.
It wins you to set for sure that you did play. But yeah, I like that. Like I like you know especially with cameos, like there's more interesting ways to set up Oki other than I put out Ice Glow and now I throw you. You know, um, it's cool. Like I feel like there's more styles that can be played in this game than there was in 11 because 11 was a very it had a very strong idea of how it was meant to be played, and it didn't. Most of the characters fit into that niche of we're gonna play footsies, we're gonna throw each other, and I like that game. That game it's a lot of fun, but I also like seeing personalities shine through with characters, and I feel like this game is gonna allow that with a lot of the stuff because I know like if you gave Sonic Fox an ambush homing rocket, I'm gonna get hit by whatever comes next. I will simply get hit, and that's cool. I like that.
We're gonna definitely see how that goes into factors into play in all due time. This game, the cameo system has like really been intriguing to me because it's like, man, this I'm really excited. I'm gonna just say that I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen with this.
Mm-hmm. All right. It has been an hour 45. This will probably be our longest episode so far.
Oh yes, it will.
Anything else you want to talk about, or you want to go get food?
I'm a bit hungry, but I will
Okay.
say that you guys need to be prepared. The online stress test thingy kind of
Beta,
beta is tomorrow. Is the next
18th.
weekend? This weekend?
Yeah, it's the
Next weekend.
18th. It's
Yeah,
the
so it's gonna
18th.
be make sure you guys get the game. I have not gotten the game yet, so I'm gonna try to get it, see if
I
I can
haven't pre-ordered yet either. I
you
will,
should
but I
all
just
you,
haven't done it.
all you gotta do is make it a birthday present. So go ahead and do it now. What the hell? If you guys didn't
Yeah.
know, once again, this game comes out Bacon's birthday, so make sure you wish him a happy birthday when MK1 comes out. You
Hell
better.
yeah, dude. September
You
19th.
better.
Let's get it.
But
But yeah. We don't have a guest to like plug things, so what do you want to plug?
well, make sure you guys follow Bacon Lord and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to amp up the content for Mk1 more so than just podcast. Also, out of curiosity, would people be more for you guys that are listening? Would you be more interested in like if this was on like audio only platforms, like a Spotify or something like that?
Spotify playlist be nice.
Like what are y'all chill with just the YouTube, or would you like a Spotify thing or something? I'm curious.
let us know in the comments or just DM us directly. You know, you can like ideas. You're all open to this. You know,
Right.
Bacon came up with this idea. This is all Bacon. Like I'm not taking any credit for this. This is all Bacon. I just want to. He said he wanted me on. I was honored. I'm like, this guy really wants to hear me say stupid shit with him. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
So,
I needed to smooch off your Hollywoodness. You know.
I don't have any. You know what? Okay, guys, that's been nice. Make sure you guys leave a comment, like it, and I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great night.
Take care, everyone.